Anyway, so I just want to say a big hello and welcome to everybody, and welcome to this episode of Get in the Cage with Craig. Today we're sitting in with multi-platinum artist, songwriter, member of the Georgia Hall of Fame, and bassist for Collective Soul, Will Turpin. Want to give you a big shout out. How you doing today, Will?
Georgia Music Hall of Fame.
Georgia Music. Awesome. Also, we are sitting in today with Odd Army, the members of Odd Army working together. And maybe you guys can introduce yourselves and tell us your roles in the band.
Yeah, I'm Fidel. I'm lead vocals.
I'm Alec. I play guitar and I sing too.
I'm Cameron. I play bass and a little bit of keys.
I'm Mitchell and I play drums.
Awesome. So we're going to be talking about Reel to Reel Studios, which I can tell you guys are sitting in there right now. And you just told me a couple minutes ago that you guys are working on some stuff right now. We're gonna get back to that. I do want to kind of divert a little bit off to the side, and I kind of wanted to just take a moment to talk about Collective Soul for a minute, and this is going to be relevant to all the things we're going to be talking about. But bands that are iconic, which Collective Soul is absolutely an iconic band. We know things about them, but when you look them up, sometimes you find out things that either you didn't know or you go, wow, this is like a staggering amount of information. So I just want to talk about some of the incredible highlights. Collective Soul had 7 number 1 hits, 19 top 40 singles, 15 million physical record sales, and over 500 million Spotify streams. If that's Spotify alone, we're not talking about like Apple and Amazon and all the other platforms. So really millions. There's tremendous accomplishments. I mean, the songs have sync placements on dozens of movies and TV shows, shows like that 90s show, Varsity Blues, The Hills, NCIS, Charmed. I mean, I need a list. I'm reading here. Beverly Hills 90210, Scream 2, Twilight. On top of that, staggering 1,300 live performances. I mean,
That's sick. I didn't know that.
You see what I mean? I mean, you can be in love with an iconic band, but then when you look things up, you find out information. You go, I can't even believe it. Now, you guys have been on stage with bands like 1,300 shows. I went through every one of your shows.
Oh, dude, I was wondering.
Name all of them. Go.
Hundreds of bands.
Yeah.
Hundreds. So these are the ones that I picked. These are some of my fan faves, okay? The Killers, Weezer, The Cranberries, Cake, Switchfoot, Rage Against the Machine, Young the Giant, Judah and the Lion, Ice Cube, Limp Bizkit, Alanis Morissette, The Strokes, Arctic Monkeys, Aerosmith, Run DMC, Flaming Lips, Red Hot Chili Peppers, No Doubt, Foo Fighters, Blink-182, I know, I'm trying to go faster, Metallica, Sheryl Crow, Willie Nelson, Tony Bennett, Alanis Morissette, and James Brown. Now, that's just the ones I picked out, okay? These iconic bands that you grace the stage with. It's just incredible. And some of the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because what I'm seeing happening here with you working with a band like Odd Army is what I feel is like an opportunity of a lifetime, because there's so many bands out there that they're looking for an opportunity to make it to the next level and make a break. And here they have someone that's iconic and already all these accomplishments. So you have this wealth of knowledge to pass along,
Yeah.
So I have so it leads up to my first question, which is going to be, what advice could you give if there's indie bands out there right now listening to this? What advice would you have for an up and coming indie band?
Yeah, indie bands. Yeah. So if you're an indie band, I mean, I would say, get the gear, start at home and figure out a few things and, just be true to feel. I just tell everybody we always created by feel, and just be true to what feels right. Follow that. Check out some of the other people that have done before, you as well. But,
I mean, what you told us when we were getting going was start writing, start playing, because you got to get a lot of the shitty stuff out of the way first.
I like that.
You kind of follow is just got to start pumping things out and get things flowing, and you'll stumble into the good stuff as you kind of get the mojo going a little bit.
I like that.
Yes, everybody needs to know that I've known these guys now for 7-8 years.
Really?
Yeah, I've talked to them, communicated with them over the years. So And we recorded here 7 years ago at Reel to Reel. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're in Studio B right now. Next door is where the big room is, Studio A. So,
and that's funny because I came across Odd Army with a music submission. You guys submitted to us over here at Cage Riot, and it was the song Mother Burns. And I just thought it was really gritty, really raw, really energetic. I loved it.
Oh.
So I reached out and I said, hey, I like you guys. I think maybe you guys can come on over Cage Riot and distribute to us. I'd really like to have you do that. And they did. And then what happened was that Yvonne said to me, oh, they're going to be working with Will from Collective Soul. I said, wait, say that again? And she says, yeah, they're working with Will from Collective Soul. It's Collective Soul. Like, because sometimes there's bands names that you go, maybe it sounds like somebody else's. We're talking about Collective Soul. She said, yeah, and they're going to be sitting in with Will Turpin, and they want to do an interview. I said, let's do it. Come on, tomorrow. When do you guys want to do this? So
I just love the whole vibe of being in my father's place too, man. This studio, the business started in '76. This studio was built in 2002, 2003. But what a spot, man. The spirit here. I feel my dad's spirit in here. And, it's just what I grew up with, man. I grew up with the studio and instruments and bands and festivals. A lot of the names you mentioned were festival dates. But did you mention Van Halen? You didn't even bring
it was Van Halen and Sammy Hagar. I saw them both on the list.
Sammy Hagar, they're friends because those were tours. But yeah, man, there's special thing with family and music, and that's why I bring up Van Halen and Sammy, and and being here with my dad, my dad's spirit. It's really good to have these guys here and watch them develop. And dang, we just finished. Did y'all just finish? We just finished actually.
Finished the basic tracking.
Yeah, we just finished the
our
basic
last
track.
Yeah.
I read a lot about Reel to Reel, and I'm really excited. I can completely connect with that. My dad was a Tool guy. And everything he did, my whole young adult life was involving some kind of Tool. And then when he passed, you get all of those things and you want to kind of carry on that torch. So, reading about Reel to Reel and how it's like one of the longest, I think you guys have been there the longest in Atlanta of any other studio, I believe, right? I mean, you guys been
on the business books, we're the oldest one. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that is, these kind of things, again, make something iconic, that the history of just who's come through your studio and the fact of who was created in that studio, which was also Collective Soul, kind of came right out of those doors, So, I mean, I'm a firm believer in energy and life and how we kind of get out of life what we put into life. So a lot has gone into that studio, so a lot's going to come out of it. So, that's really great. So, I get excited about these things. And then I was just wanted to talk to you a lot about that and get into the band and everything. I did want to ask you what's your favorite instrument when you're on stage, to play? Which bass do you choose? What's your go-to bass?
Oh yeah, that was in the interview. I got some behind me, so I'd forgotten all about that. I don't have the bass that Eddie Van Halen gave me. That's at home.
Okay, well then guess what? Now I'm going to hook you onto a second. I'm going to hook him onto a second interview. Now you got to so you can bring that.
Yeah,
want to see that.
I'll show you a really iconic bass in Collective Soul's history.
All right, let's see that.
This one's been on a lot of records. Fender Shop made two of these for me. They look a little different, each one. But they made two identical ones. Alex Perez at the Custom Shop, 97. So I would use these on tour, switch basses, everything sounded exactly the same. But they've been on a lot of records, especially this one. This one's always, even in the Custom Shop, every guitar is not created equal, right? This one's always just played so well. The other one's in the studio right now, and usually they're separate places. But I don't take them on the road anymore. But this guy and the other one, the two identical twins, yeah, they toured for at least 10 years from 97 to around 2005, 2007. And in the studio a lot of Collective Soul records.
A lot of road on that guitar.
Yeah, man. It's still ready to go right now. It's got some nicks. The nicks are what make it good.
That's awesome. So, something else I want to talk about, and it's going to also lead into what these guys and you guys are doing, is that you started off on an independent label. And I can't tell you how many times a day I either get an email or see something about a band that they talk about wanting to blow up when you're independent. And I guess you guys were working with Rising Storm Records. So can you just give us a little bit of background of that?
It was just like a ways to the means. We had to figure out a way to release a record.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically an investor. So we started a record label with an investor. It wasn't really a record label. It was
Wow.
by us wanting to release a record.
Wow.
Rising Storm did end up signing a couple other artists, but it was just, man, it was, we went straight to college. We took it to college radio. Dean took it by hand to Album 88 there at Georgia State, which is where we were both going to school. Shine, everybody was calling about Shine on the college radio station.
I read about that. So everybody was blowing up the phones of the radio stations, begging to hear this song.
Yeah, and then it slipped into a guy's hands in Orlando at a commercial station, JRR, I think it was. But next thing you know, he had the option to put anything on a shootout, on the Sunday afternoon shootout. Next thing you know, Shine's up against like Pearl Jam. Boom, winner. Yeah.
That feels good. That's a nice way to launch into it.
Yeah, and we had no idea what was going on. You look back, you're like, wow, okay, that was huge. For us, we're like, oh, it's just a Sunday night shootout, whatever, But that's really where it started going downhill. We sold like 35,000 copies of a CD.
Wow.
And then Atlantic Records, and then, of course, a number of record labels were interested in it.
So what I'm hearing is the persistence and the paving of your own roads is what bands like Odd Army, what they're doing right now, and they're beating the streets and they're making that music. And then, like you said, you're putting it out there. And I like the way he said that. He said you're going to make our shittiest music first. You know what I mean? Get that out of the way. And then, you know what I mean? Keep beating the streets. And then it just happens. And the fans, they grasp onto what you're making. And I'm just, I'm really in love with the whole iconic working with an emerging band. And I just love that passing of the torch. I find it to be really an incredible moment here that I'm really in love with. I'm really happy to see this happening.
We all know that quote right at the front door, right? I put that there for a reason, the McCartney quote.
Let's hear it.
Nothing pleases me more than walking into a room and coming out with a piece of music.
Wow. And, you never know what's going to become the most iconic music until you make it, So that's really fantastic. So, then we're going to get to the next phase here. You guys finally get signed by Atlantic Records after going through everything you just went through. I just want to get, before we start talking about Odd Army and everything, what's the feeling? You get that call, there's a contract thrown on the table. What's the impact on your life when that finally happens?
I mean, we were so young and driven. It was, and I can't believe we felt this way when I look back, but we didn't even think we had made it. It was
really,
oh my God, we got so much more work to do. I can't wait. I'm glad somebody's giving us a chance, but I can't wait. We that's why. Look back, we released 5 records in 7 years?
Well, okay. Thank you for saying that, because I do think that some bands come across the opportunity and the contract and they put their feet up on the desk and they go, okay, it's time for vacation. and what you just said is the reason why you succeeded. That is absolutely one of the reasons, because now is the time to work harder, because you're going to go up against everybody else who's signed on that label. You're going to go up against everybody else who's trying to knock you off the top of that mountain now. So you have to work twice as hard. So if there's any message that you just gave to every indie band out there, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder. And that's
step up, man. Step up. You're in the big leagues.
Yep. Awesome. Love that attitude. Fantastic. So now you've known this band now for 7 years, and you guys are working together. I first of all, I want to know let's get to the band now. Odd Army, tell me, how did you guys feel? You find out you're meeting Will Turpin, you're going to be working with an icon in the industry. How do you feel?
Dude, do you know, you mean tell the story or you tell the story?
Yeah, no. It's funny because it was a casual it wasn't like a mic drop moment or anything like that. It was my whole family's big Collective Soul fans. So my dad, I think in like 2010 around then, went to a Collective Soul show. He met Ed at a bar before the show, just grabbing a drink.
That's how it happens.
Typical. That was the only drink Ed ever had. And they just started chatting, and I think it just came up that, you know, my dad, his son is in a band, and so I think after that show he met all the guys and kind of started chatting with you about the music that we're making and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think from there we just kind of stayed in touch. And so it was kind of a casual entrance into it, more than like a big build-up or anything. And the next thing you know, we're just calling him up on the phone, getting some advice. And like you said, we came out here in 2016 and recorded a couple songs. So
Awesome. I wish I knew that beer was on the table. I would have sent you guys some, and we'd all be drinking right now. Sorry?
We've all had at least one.
I'm a little jealous. So now we're here. We're recording in the studio. Can you tell me? I do want to know something. I wanted the fans to know what's the origin of the Odd Army name.
That's it's one of those great ones because it means almost nothing. And when we came up with it, it was like one of those democratic decisions of like, you know, what band name that we're throwing on the table do we not hate? And sort of, like the nice thing is I think it's sort of come to mean like I think one of the like defining features of this band is like we all have like really different like kind of backgrounds and really different like musical tastes, and like we have like a lot of like overlap, but like at the same time we're all kind of coming from completely different places, but like we like playing together because for that reason we're not just like, you know, it's not an echo chamber, like we're kind of like everybody's bringing something different to the table.
I think we've grown into the name over time. When we came up with it, it didn't really have like a cool story or anything like that, but it's just kind of sat with us, and we've had it now for 10 years. And so we kind of filled it out as we've gone.
It was funny. We had our first show and we didn't have a band name. So we had about like 2 or 3 weeks or something. We got to come up with a name.
Bandnamegenerator.com.
I love that. You guys are booked for a show. You're like, hey, who's playing tonight? I don't know. I don't have a name. Well, I tell you though, you guys touched on something there though that, you know, I listen to a lot of music. I'm listening to sometimes hundreds of songs in one day. I'm going through music song after song. And I find that songs that have a lot of origins in different sounds, classical music, blues, jazz, you know, that creates the best sound. I mean, if you think about the classical music of the past and how incredible it is, when a band uses, like what you guys said, you're taking elements of different, and Collective Soul has absolutely done this, has taken all these different types of sounds and puts it together, it really creates magic. You know, so to hear you guys say that that's what you do is really one of the reasons probably why I was attracted to the sound you guys make. It's really, really good stuff.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's turning out good, man. They're crushing it. There's all kind of elements. I turned them on to King's X. Do you remember that band?
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, they've got some vocal elements and guitar elements and chordal stuff of a band like that they don't even.
I didn't even know them.
No, but I think they dug it. But,
yeah, it's cool stuff, man.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of music. I mean, for anybody to know everything is hard, you know, but to listen as much as you can and get some, inspiration definitely helps out a lot. So tell me about this album that you guys are working on right now together. What's happening? You want to throw us something, give us a name, give us a direction.
Well, you brought up Mother Burns before. That we actually did a new version of that song that's going to be on the record. So that's
okay.
Kind of exciting. It's totally like reimagined it, like, you know, with his guidance and stuff like that. So,
ooh, okay, awesome. Love to hear that.
I think what's exciting about this process is that we just kind of took a collection of songs that we were really stoked about and brought them to Will and kind of reshaped them and restructured them, because a lot of times we have a lot of ideas that we're all very excited about, so things can kind of meander and we kind of build off each other. And to have someone with the experience like Will to kind of have the cruising altitude view of like, this is where this song can go. This is kind of like a little part we can shorten up or change it a little bit. It really gives the songs a new life. And I think that's just a really exciting thing to be kind of like living out in the moment.
We've been a band for like almost like pretty much 10 years now. And we've like written and recorded a whole bunch of stuff, you know, self-produced. We worked on some stuff with Will 7 years ago, but like I kind of feel like we're calling this our like debut full-length record, because like even after being a band for 10 years, like it took us, you know, a lot of time to like, I think we had our voice all along, but I think we like really know what our artistic voice is now, and we like know what we're trying to say with our music like more than ever now.
Oh yeah, there's real growth. Yeah.
Well, if I could give you any words of inspiration, there's an old saying that says, "Overnight success takes 10 years."
Right on time.
Perfect timing, right? So, as far as the album is concerned, and then the live aspect of it, I've seen a lot of bands, they record some music, and then when they hit the stage, there's a different element to it. What is your guys' expectation with that? You're going to record the music, and then when you get to the stage, are you going to mimic that sound, or are you going to try to be more open? What's your stage like presence?
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I think every other record we've done, we've sort of recorded and then gone and played it live. But I think this batch of songs kind of like unique for us, and like for the better, is we have been playing all of these tracks live for like almost a year.
I like to hear that. That's great.
And it's like, you know, the songs have developed over and been like even rewritten over, like just trying them out at shows, seeing which ones get the best reactions, seeing which ones like are the most fun.
I was just going to say that as a listener, as the viewer, I'm not a performer. That, yeah, if you're looking at the fans and the fans are reacting to what you're doing, you go, yeah, you know, mental note, hey, this is working on, you know, live. We need to record this. So that's fantastic. It's a great approach to take. And that's definitely where that question came from, because I've seen some bands where they record something in the studio and then you look at them live and you go, but that's not like, it doesn't translate. Like, you're missing something in the studio that you're doing on stage. So a lot of ears aren't hearing what you guys really are. So I'm glad to hear that that's the direction you guys are going. It's fantastic. As far as time frame, do you guys have a time frame for when you feel like this is going to be dropping?
There's no specific month or date or anything like that as of yet. It will be out this year. Yeah. We're shooting late summer, early fall.
Okay.
But yeah, TBD at this point.
Yeah, that's almost kind of a bad question. I should make because I shouldn't because it's like, as an artist, right? How can you guys ever say, yeah, on Monday we'll be done at 4:00?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't work like that. So, can you tell us a little bit more about Reel to Reel, Will? Can you tell us what it is you have to offer? Because it first of all, the studios look amazing. I've seen the pictures, and I'm seeing you guys in there right now. But what is it that these bands should expect to get from you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, the live room, you don't have a lot of those anymore. But I mean, it's just a great studio, man. It's designed by really good people that knew what the heck they were doing, man. It was definitely my dad's lifetime build. Les Duncan designed the Studio A control room. He was famous for designing like Southern Tracks and a few other control rooms. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope we offer some type of cool home, like you feel like you're at home.
No, it's the most comfortable environment.
Yeah, it's been awesome. The recording process can obviously, like, it can get slow at times and get frustrating at times, but we'll do a good job of like keeping the energy up and like keeping positive vibes and everything and getting us through the hard parts. So
yeah, and I think on behalf of all of us, we got to give a shout out to Jonathan Beckner.
Oh yeah, he's got over here, our engineer,
top of the line audio engineer.
Give it to us. Come on, lay it on us.
What's that?
I said, lay it on us. You know, throw the shout outs. We definitely want to hear.
He's an unsung hero, man. He's long days, gets here early, stays late, and his ability to keep a positive attitude when we've punched the same thing 100 times. Impressive. So we love that guy. Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody wanted to get in touch with Reel to Reel and work with this fantastic group, how would they? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
I mean, really just the phone number. It's on the website. There's we answer all messaging though. Facebook, it's Reel to Reel. Instagram, there's a small presence, but it's Reel to Reel also. It'll all pop up. But
I love that name because it says, should I interpret it the way it is? It's REAL. In other words, the real life to putting it on real. Is that where the origin of that is?
Yeah, my dad had a copyright on that name in '76, and so many years are gone by, and there's still people trying to get that name because it's brilliant. You know,
It is brilliant. When I read it, I said, "Wow!"
There's not a lot of reels of film left anymore, even in film industry, right? It's all digital.
Yeah.
Almost all digital now.
You know, it's so funny because the industries have changed so much over the years. I mean, you've gone everything from selling stuff practically on vinyl, and then the digital discs, and like you said, now everything is just. When I said digital, but I meant CDs, and now we're completely digital. You know, it's amazing how much the world has evolved with.
Well, yeah. Well, even we're completely digital, but you got vinyl records at Target and vinyl records at Best Buy right now. How did that happen? Who would have saw that? You know?
I wouldn't have sold my SL 1200 turntables back in 2000 if I had known. I had crates and crates of records. I said, "Oh, no one's ever going to want this stuff." What a mistake, right?
In my main room, I'm trying to display as many records as possible.
Well, I tell you, I really appreciate talking to everybody here today. Will Turpin of Collective Soul, Will Turpin, a solo project, all the music that you've put out, everything that you've given us, the fans. I just want to say thank you. I've been with you since the beginning, so no one can say I haven't been a fan because I was there. I played your music live in venues and bars and seen the reaction of people along with me, and it's for me, it's just completely gone full circle. So I'm glad I threw out the turntables and have this interview.
Cheers. Thanks, bro. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. And Odd Army, thanks for sitting in, telling us about it. What we're going to do, I think, is we're going to have to do a follow-up at some point in the future. I want to talk to you about the project after it comes out. Make sure you get some good live video, for me, so we can put it up after we get it all going. But thanks, everybody, for being here today. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah,
our
cheers,
pleasure.
man.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
All right, great. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.